The notification arrived at 800 Galactic Standard Time, delivered through the usual diplomatic channels. Ambassador Krell of the Vorthon Empire read it twice before the words registered properly. His scaled fingers trembled as he set down the datapad. "They're leaving," he whispered to his aide, who stood frozen in the doorway of the embassy office. The Human Confederation's withdrawal from the Galactic Council was effective immediately. No negotiations, no gradual transition. Just a simple statement. Humanity was severing all ties with galactic civilization and returning to their home systems. Within hours, the news had spread across 1,000 worlds. The initial reaction was relief among many species. The humans had always been troublesome, too emotional, too unpredictable, too willing to challenge established protocols. Their departure would surely bring stability to the galaxy. Council Chairman Vex called an emergency session. The vast chamber buzzed with chatter from representatives of 47 species. Crystalline beings clinked like wind chimes, gaseous entities swirled in their containment suits, and traditional bipeds gestured with appendages of every description. "Order," Vex commanded, his voice resonating through the translation matrix. "The human situation requires immediate attention." "Good riddance," declared Senator Moth of the crystalline hegemony. They disrupted every session with their illogical demands for individual rights and emotional appeals. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembly. The humans had indeed been difficult partners. They questioned every decision, demanded explanations for traditions older than their civilization, and worst of all, they had refused to accept their designated role in the galactic hierarchy. Most species found their place within the established order. The Vorthons handled military matters, the hegemony managed technology, the gas dwellers oversaw trade routes. But humans had wanted to do everything themselves, spreading their influence across multiple sectors without regard for proper specialization. "We should discuss redistribution of their territories," suggested Admiral Zor of the Defense Coalition. The humans controlled 17 star systems along the outer rim. The debate began immediately. Who would inherit human space? How would their colonies be divided? The mathematics seemed simple enough. 47 species could easily absorb the resources of one departed member. But as the weeks passed, problems emerged. The first crisis struck the Betelgeuse shipping lanes. Pirates had always plagued that sector, but human patrol fleets had kept them contained. With those ships gone, attacks increased tenfold. Merchant vessels began avoiding the routes entirely, causing supply shortages across a dozen worlds. Council forces moved to fill the gap, but their response protocols required committee approval for each engagement. By the time authorization came through, the raiders had vanished into asteroid fields or nebular clouds. The humans never waited for approval. Captain Reed of the Vorthon fleet reported. "They just went after the pirates immediately. We called it reckless, but it worked." Similar issues arose throughout former human territory. Border disputes flared between 3 species claiming the same mineral-rich system. Without human mediation, the conflicts escalated rapidly. The Council's formal arbitration process would take months to resolve what human diplomats had settled in days. Emergency food shipments to drought-stricken colonies moved at bureaucratic pace through official channels. Humans had simply loaded their cargo ships and departed, cutting through regulations like they cut through hyperspace. The Council condemned such illegal efficiency, even as populations went hungry, waiting for proper documentation. The technology problems proved even more severe. Human engineers had modified thousands of systems throughout the galaxy, improving efficiency but violating standardization protocols. With their maintenance crews gone, equipment began failing across multiple sectors. Their modifications were unauthorized, Chief Engineer Vale of the Hegemony reported. But removing them would shut down entire industrial complexes. The Galactic Central Computer, pride of the Council's technological achievement, began experiencing cascading errors. Deeper investigation revealed extensive human programming throughout its core systems. They had been quietly fixing bugs and optimizing performance for decades, all without permission. "We should have stopped them," Vale admitted privately. "But their improvements worked so well we never wanted to interfere." Trade networks collapsed as human-designed logistics algorithms failed without maintenance. The sophisticated supply chains they had built connected thousands of worlds in efficient patterns that no one else fully understood. Council economists spent months trying to recreate systems that human traders had developed through intuition and experience. Medical research ground to a halt. Human doctors had been treating patients from 47 different species, often finding cures that specialized physicians had missed. Their research data, stored on human servers, was lost when the entire network went dark. The irony struck Ambassador Krell during a late-night review of the crisis reports. The Council had barely tolerated human participation in galactic affairs, viewing them as junior partners at best. Yet somehow, these emotional and unpredictable beings had become essential to everything that worked. They had been the mediators who solved conflicts, the innovators who improved systems, the risk-takers who faced dangers others avoided. While the Council debated proper procedures, humans had been quietly keeping civilization running. 6 months after the departure, Chairman Vex stood before a nearly empty assembly chamber. Half the member species were dealing with internal crises that prevented attendance. The remainder sat in grim silence as he read the latest status reports. Perhaps, Krell said quietly, we should consider sending a delegation to human space. Absolutely not, Vex replied immediately. The Council does not negotiate with former members who abandoned their commitments. But even as he spoke, Vex wondered if pride was worth the price. The galaxy had learned to function with human involvement over the centuries. Without them, everything seemed to be falling apart. In the depths of space, human ships continued their journey home, leaving behind a galactic council that finally understood what they had lost, and just how adrift they truly were without the species they had never quite appreciated. The stars watched silently as civilization learned the difference between order and function, between protocol and progress, between following rules and actually getting things done.